It's your boy Sasper and May. Today we're discussing the worst matchup of 2026 because 2026 matchup and matchmaking is absolutely terrible this year, and there's so many bad ones that I can actually make a tier list out of it. So yeah, let's get into it. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez 2. This was a disgrace, and I'm so happy that Diego Lopez got 50-45 the second time. Look, you know, I'm not upset about this matchup because Diego Lopez got 50-45 again by Volkanovski, which is something we love to see. Let's talk about how corrupt this matchup was. This is probably the worst title fight matchup in UFC history, the most corrupt, the most biased, the most never anyone want to see this in a live matchup in UFC history. And the fight went the exact same way it did before. Literally every single round went the same. Vol got dropped once. Diego Lopez couldn't cut the cage. And it was just a 50-45. And Diego Lopez did nothing that fight. And he cried after the fight, which was pretty funny. So yeah. Next, Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. This is bad matchmaking. This is actually very bad matchmaking. I'm gonna give all the reasons why. Obviously, Tatsuro Taira does deserve a title shot. But Manal Cap deserves a title shot more. So I understand why this fight's being made. Second of all, Manal Cap's on a longer win streak than Tatsuro Taira. Manal Cap's on a 3-5 winning streak, all by knockout. Tatsuro Taira lost to Brandon Royval, and Manal Cap in his last fight knocked out knocked out Brandon Royval in the first round. So why is this fight being made? It's also Joshua Van and Manal Cap actually trash talking each other, and that's something we want to see. This is Manal Cap and Joshua Van is going to be a 10 times better promotion than Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira, because Tatsuro Taira can't speak English. Yeah. And they actually trash talking each other.
Maybe because Joshua Van for me is just a punch bag. I think for this fight camp against Joshua Van, I just have to punch back. It's gonna be there, and I'm gonna do whatever I want with a punch back.
It's a lot more entertaining because Joshua Van is coming to bang.
If he comes to bang with me, then we're gonna see who is the alpha. You know, who have the bigger balls. He will knock out me.
You said talk is cheap. Let's do it February 7th. How does Manel Cop get it done in H-Town?
If UFC make it this fight, I'm gonna put it in the show that in Houston. Second round finish, knockout.
I know there's been some rumblings with Manel Cop and Tatsuro Taira. Any insight on that? On what's next?
So he's too busy looking for his bra, man. I don't know what's up with him, but you know, I got a fight coming up for sure.
Sounds good, man. I'll keep it.
Joshua. So you have Tatsuro Taira, who has a lot of hype in the UFC, and also Manel Cop, who's had a lot to say after his last fight. Which fight excites you more to start this title defense?
I'm fighting Tatsuro next, bro.
You are? Okay. Thank you.
There you have it from the flyweight champion. Your question is answered. Back over here, brother. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Recently, over the past couple of months, there have been some rumblings about Manel Cop might have a steroid usage problem, and I was just wondering, do you think there's any truth to that, or what are your thoughts on Manel Cop?
I don't know nothing about the guy. All I know is he got a big ass titties. But
Also, Manal Cap and Joshua Van, that's going to be one of the best striking fights in UFC history. Both of these guys are actually such good strikers that literally it's such an entertaining matchup where the Joshua Van Tatsuro Taira fight is not going to be as entertaining as a Manal Cap Joshua Van fight, fight wise and the build up wise. Manal Cap and Joshua Van literally have beef. Why is this fight not being made? But the UFC at the same time are trying to do fights which are for promotion or something. Why do they just do that? But at the same time, when there's actually a fight which has good promotion where Joshua Van and Manal Cap are actually trashing each other, UFC don't do it, and Manal Cap deserves a title shot more. This is so dumb from the UFC. They have zero brain in their head. It's so dumb. So yeah, this is absolutely bad matchmaking. Why, when two fighters actually have beef and trash talking and they actually deserve a title shot, does the UFC not make the fight? They're just like, the UFC is just like, let's just make the dumbest matchups in the world. Let's just make the dumbest matchups in the world. This is probably the guy who's in the matchmaking room right now. That idiot. Okay, sorry guys, just a quick one. There's a point which I forgot to add in the video is that they should have done Tatsuro Taira versus Kyoshi Gyauchi, is how you say name, in Japan, because it'll actually be a reason for there to be a UFC Japan, and also they're both on winning streaks, and they're both in the top 5, so they should fight to be number 1 contender. Yes, study. I do. Next, Masvidal Evlo versus Lauren Murphy. This is a good fight, but it's corrupt. And the reason why it's corrupt because of Diego Lopez's ass. Yeah, it's all Diego Lopez's fault. Diego Lopez is ruining the featherweight division. And this is actually a fight I really want to see stylistically. Both these guys are decisionators. They both are very well rounded. And they're both on very long win streaks. So this is actually a fight which is going to be a very good fight. I'm very excited to see this fight. But this fight never should have happened because Diego Lopez never deserved a title shot. He's not even a Mexican. Why are you trying to build up the Mexican market when Diego Lopez isn't even Mexican? If Diego Lopez ever became champion, which he's not going to ever become champion because I said so, guess what? He's not even Mexican, so Mexicans aren't even going to care if Diego Lopez becomes a champion. Diego Lopez is Brazilian. So yeah, this is a good fight, but it's corrupt. Next on the same UFC London card, this is bad match. This is just terrible matchmaking. Michael Van Page versus Sam Patterson. How long of a win streak is Michael Van Page on? Like, this fight just makes absolutely zero sense why this fight was ever made. There's so many guys in the top 5, top 10 who, even top 5, like Michael Van Page arguably deserves a top 5 opponent. And why are you giving Sam Patterson outside the ranking? Like, give him someone in the top 5 or top 10 of top 5 of either welterweight or middleweight. Literally, this fight literally makes no sense. And also, they're both teammates. A fun fact: they both trained with each other before. And also, Michael Van Page has talked about how he's not happy that this matchup's been made. But also, why do you accept it if he's not happy about the matchup? I guess it's the only one you could have had. But why is this fight being made? UFC is so stupid, man. Literally, so many more fun, better fights could be made. Just give someone a top 5. Just give Michael Van Page a bloody top 5 opponent, for goodness sake. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they're actually scared to fight Michael Van Page, because he is probably the best striker in the whole organization. So obviously I understand if there's opponents stacking him, but why? This just makes no sense, this fight being made. No one wants to ever see Michael Van Page versus Sam Patterson in their life. So only Sam Patterson's biggest enemy wants to see Michael Van Page versus Sam Patterson. So why is this fight being made? Yeah. Next, Kamaru Usman versus Usman. This fight is it hasn't been confirmed yet, but there's a good chance of happening. There's absolute corruption. No one wants to see this fight. No one wants to see this fight. Yeah. Ian Gary deserves the next title shot. Or, if not Ian Gary, Marco Morales. And guess what? If you put Islam Mak, it's not even... Okay, Kamaru Usman might have more history and more followers than Ian Gary. But it's not going to be as good of a builder, because they're going to be respectful of each other. Ian Gary is going to try to talk trash and say some crazy things which is going to piss off Islam and his fan base and stuff. There's actually going to be a good build-up. Also, there's a storyline of Ireland versus Dagestan too. But Islam Makhachev and Kamaru Usman, they're just going to be respectful with each other, and it's going to be pretty boring until the fight. And Usman just wins one fight and just gets a title shot. UFC's terrible matchmaking just led to these old heads and these guys just feeling so entitled after winning 1 or 2 fights, thinking they deserve a title shot, and then they just sit out and wait until they get a good matchup eventually because they need a fight. And this is ruining the UFC, where we used to talk about, UFC, it's where the best fight the best, but not anymore. It's where bloody Ali Abdelaziz decides who fights who. And Ali Abdelaziz is making the UFC worse because I think he's trying to get all these fights to get like title shots and big matchups and stuff, so he can make more money and stuff, when even these guys don't deserve it. So yeah, no one wants to see Islam Makhachev versus Kamaru Usman too, unless you're Kamaru Usman's dad or something. So yeah. Next, Curtis Blades versus Josh Hokert. This is a fight which I don't know if it happened, but it's been rumored. And this is, maybe it's a good fight, but this is bad matchmaking. Josh Hokert's only won 2 fights in the UFC. And Curtis Blades beat Rusvan Kaziev or some bloody name. And yeah, it just doesn't make sense at all. Like, at least build up Josh Hokert. Don't just put this guy immediately in the top 15. And also Curtis Blades, he never ever gets a title shot. That he always, it's just like, he can win 75 fights in a row and never get a title shot. Like, it's always, Curtis Blades always has to fight a contender. He never gets a, well, he did get an interim champions shot against Tom Aspinall. That was a very rare case. Most of the time, a lot of the time he's on a win streak, then he bloody decides, okay, I'm going to accept fighting this prospect even though I'm on a win streak, and then he loses, and then he gets another win streak, loses, gets another win streak, loses. So it's like, yeah. Curtis Blades just loves fighting prospects with hype behind them for some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, just Josh Hokert, just to slow your horses, I guess. I mean, UFC, slow your horses with Josh Hokert. Next, Nathaniel Wood versus Syndicator. I know this is like a really small fight, but when is Nathaniel Wood going to get a top 15 opponent? I know arguably he could have lost his last fight. It was a close fight. I think maybe Nathaniel Wood lost that, but he still got the win. But what, he's fighting a guy on his debut. I know the Syndicator is a hard prospect and stuff, but Nathaniel, some guys just can't get bloody top 15 matchup, and then some guys like Diego Lopez just get 50,000 title shots like it's Captain Crunch cereal. Like, that doesn't even make sense why I just said Captain Crunch cereal. But yeah, Nathaniel Wood literally is on a 3-fight winning streak. He's been just fights dangerous prospects all the time, and he never ever gets a chance of cracking the top 50. He's gonna have to fight another prospect again. But we know if it was Diego Lopez, if he wins a bloody fight against MMA Guru or something, or Louis Tracy MMA, he's gonna get a title shot because for some reason the UFC just want to suck that man off. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Now, actually, Nathaniel Wood and the Seneca, that's actually going to be a bang over fight. I don't know what I'm thinking. Then, Israel Adesanya versus Joe Piper. It's a good fight, but corrupt. I wouldn't say it's corrupt, but it's a weird matchup. It's like, Joe Piper's best winners are both Magomedov and Calvin Gastelum. And Calvin Gastelum is a terrible win because Calvin Gastelum isn't good anymore. I don't know if he ever really was good. He just had a good fight against Israel Adesanya. But yeah, this is gonna be a good fight though. Like, this will be interesting. Like, does Izzy still go against a hungry young prospect who has power in his hands, a good striker? And this is actually a good win if Adesanya wins. But yeah, the thing is kind of weird matchmaking. I just like Joe Piper's ranked number 14, and he hasn't really beat anyone notable. So giving him Adesanya is like kind of weird, but I'm not complaining. Next, Paddy Pimblett versus Gaethje. This is a good fight, but it's kind of corrupt. Not as corrupt as Diego Lopez versus Alexander Volkanovski 2. That is more corrupt than the Epstein files. I know the UFC are agreeing this because they'd rather have Arman Tsarukyan fight for the title instead of Justin Gaethje. But you put the interim title on the line, and Justin won that fight fair and square, and you kind of now have to, okay, we don't want this fight to happen next, but unfortunately we have to do it because the UFC gave our word to Justin. Unfortunately, this fight has to be made. I know the UFC they don't want this fight, but yeah, but it actually kind of made sense if Paddy Pimblett won to get a title shot. Arman Tsarukyan, literally his last win was Dan Hooker. I know he's on a longer win streak, but it's not like absurd to give Paddy Pimblett the title shot if he won that fight against Justin Gaethje, because Justin Gaethje is a good win on a resume. The next, Lona Kavanaugh versus Drama Moreno. This is a good fight, but it's corrupt. I think Lona Kavanaugh's going to win because Drama Moreno is a Mexican. No, I'm joking. Lona Kavanaugh's a good... No, I'm not kind of joking in the same way. I'm kind of not joking because UFC has kind of made me racist towards Mexicans. But Lonnie Kavanaugh versus Brand Moreno, I think it's going to be a close fight, and I think Lonnie Kavanaugh is going to beat Brand Moreno. Call me crazy, but I think stylistically it's a good fight for Lonnie Kavanaugh. He's faster, more powerful than Brand Moreno, and they're basically the same size. Not like Lonnie Kavanaugh's going to fight a guy who's 6 feet taller than him or something like that. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good fight for Lonnie Kavanaugh. I think he's going to beat Brand Moreno. So, but he doesn't deserve the fight with Brand Moreno. Then 2 more matchups which have been rumored this morning. Alex Pereira versus Sorogon. This is a good fight, but it's corrupt. Let's talk about this. I think Sorogon actually will beat Alex Pereira if they fight. Obviously, I think the heavyweight size, and also I just think Sorogon is a more elusive, better striker than Alex Pereira. So I think Sorogon will beat Alex Pereira. This is a banger matchup, by the way. Like two big kickboxers going at it. I think it's gonna be a really good fight. But I think I don't think Pereira should just immediately be given a title eliminator and then a chance to fight for the belt. I think he should fight twice, at least get 2 wins before getting a title shot. I think Alex Pereira should at least get 2 more wins, get 2 wins in heavyweight before he gets a title shot at heavyweight. I think Pereira should have either fought Walter Cortez Acosta or Alexander Volkov. Volkov is won his last fight, and that would be an interesting matchup because you don't know how good Alex Pereira will be at heavyweight. So kind of like how Alex Pereira had to win a few fights before getting a light heavyweight title shot. Let's kind of do the same with Alex Pereira, where he can kind of build himself in heavyweight and build a resume, all that juicy stuff. Why I say juicy stuff? Like that could sound very inappropriate. But yeah, I think Alex Pereira. I don't think he just deserves another title eliminator. But I don't know what we would do with Sorogon if he has to wait for Tom Aspinall or he fights another contender. So I guess it does kind of make sense. But this is just a very good fight in my opinion. I understand the UFC, honestly. Then next, Yuri Prohaska versus Hamzat Chimaev. This is a banger fight, but it's corrupt. Hamzat Chimaev won 1 fight at middleweight. Won the belt and just decided, okay, I'm going to leave now. And I'm going to waste everyone's time. It's just like bullshit. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But Yuri Prohaska, what am I even saying? Hamzat Chimaev. Yeah, he just beat. He at least needs to defend his belt twice, 2 or 3 times before moving up. And Hamzat Chimaev is just being a bastard. Like, he's just like, okay, I'm gonna fight every 8 months, and as soon as I win a belt, I'm just gonna go to the next division and waste everyone's time. It's like, and the UFC just like accept it. They're like, okay, we know this is ruining the division and everything and stuff like that, but we're still doing it. But I think as far as is an absolute banger though. Yuri Prohaska versus Hamzat Chimaev. Like, fight wise, it's gonna be very entertaining because I think Yuri Prohaska is one of the few guys who has a chance of being Hamzat Chimaev. Yuri Prohaska never gets tired and goes forward. He could break Hamzat Chimaev. You can't just say Yuri Prohaska doesn't have a chance. But yeah, this fight, obviously Hamzat Chimaev needs to defend his belt a few times. Obviously at middleweight, Nastadina Mavov deserves the next title shot. And yeah, the UFC just are getting bent over. Why am I saying they're getting bent over? Like, doesn't make. But yeah, the UFC just are very stupid, make terrible matchups. I think this guy is the bloody matchmaker at the moment because what the hell the UFC are doing. And yes, the boy starts running mouth.